Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis Media once again. Welcome to my very first review at my new apartment. Thank you guys so much for your support in the last video. Thanks for the, congratulations and all that. But yeah, now that I'm in my new place, I can make more videos a lot more often without having to deal with too many interruptions. So anyways, welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it is going to be on Civil War, directed by Alex Garland, where we follow a photographer played by Kirsten Dunst, who travels from New York to Washington, D.C., while also having to deal with a massive civil war. It's pretty much the reason why she's going to Washington, D.C. But she has some friends along with her. One of them is a girl that also happens to be a photographer, and they are defenseless throughout a lot of this movie. It focuses on them. It doesn't focus on any military going through this war situation. This isn't something like The Hurt Locker or Saving Private Ryan. This is a film where these people are completely defenseless, and they do travel outside once in a while. I mean, they do travel by car, but first off, Alex Garland, I think, is a very talented director. I love Ex Machina. I also love Annihilation. Men, despite the fact that, that film is pretty divisive, I still really enjoy that film. And with Civil War, it's a film that tends to feel a bit more realistic than some of his previous works because war is real. It can happen at any time, and this world takes place in the near future. So, honestly, it could happen at any time. I don't want it to happen, but it just shows how terrifying war can be. Expect a lot of death in this movie. And while the movie can be considered an action film, action is definitely a bit on the lighter side because, like I said before, this movie focuses on photographers. It doesn't really focus on any like military character or anything like that, like other war-themed movies would. And that's one thing that I really like about this movie is how much more realistic and how more terrifying it can be for these characters. They have no guns. All that they have is, well, they try confronting some people along the way, other, like war veterans and stuff like that. And I saw this in IMAX, and as far as I know, this is the first time they're actually releasing one of their new films in IMAX. I mean, they have released a couple of their older films for IMAX, but this is their first true IMAX, new release film. And I definitely do recommend the IMAX experience because it just makes the film feel so much more different, and it definitely makes it feel more realistic too. Kirsten Dunst is really good in the movie. Everybody in the movie is really spot on in the film. And when it comes to the themes that Alex Garland brings to the big screen about Civil War, and throughout a lot of the movie, we see these people basically taking photos. And for some people, they tend to take pictures of pretty much everything. And for some people, that might be a bit confusing. And it definitely doesn't, give you hints on why exactly they're just taking photos of every single thing. I mean, it makes sense for, the war stuff. But I feel like, as the movie as it wraps up by the end, it kind of tends to make a bit more sense. And it's not really something that's super easy to make out for some other people, but I mean, they're photographers. And the fact that, they're taking pictures of this Civil War event, like how it actually is going on and showing actual proof of, yeah, it makes sense. In terms of gripes I do have with the film, there's this one montage sequence where they use a song that doesn't fit in with it at all in the slightest. And while I really liked the characters in this movie, there's one character that I think is by far the most memorable, but something happens towards this one character, which I'm not going to spoil, but it kind of makes the character feel a bit wasted. And if I go too further, then it's just going to, yeah. And other than that, I do think this movie is very phenomenal. I also like how while a lot of people do get hurt and a lot of people do get killed in the movie, they keep the blood very minimal. I mean, the only times it really gets bloody is when they show corpses, and yeah, it gives it more of that realistic tone and not just, always focusing on, just blood, because a lot of war movies do that, but they make it feel a lot more realistic. And while there's still a lot of more realistic aspects to this film, I definitely like where Alex Garland was going with his direction, and in the end, guys, Civil War was a great experience. Its depiction of war can be very terrifying, and it gives it less rewatchability, but it's fine because a one viewing experience for films like this, I feel like is just enough because it'll stay in your brain for a really long time. And despite that issue with that one character that I'm not going to bring up and that one montage scene, there was not too much for me to complain about here. I can definitely say it's one of those films that I'm probably not going to rewatch despite rewatching a lot of A24's other films. Despite how messed up they can be, it's definitely one of those films that is far more too realistic for me to want to view again. But bottom line, I still think this is a very well made film, and I definitely recommend checking it out. A24 has actually been starting to put, bigger budgets into their films because despite the fact that they're always going for more of the art house route, they this definitely has a more bigger budget feel. And I honestly kind of forgot this was an A24 film, so I hope this movie does manage to do well because, yeah, I feel like this is one of the more important films to come out in recent memory. But, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll have a lot more videos to make in this place because I'm just getting started, obviously. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.